Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Justin Young. He's Garrett Tucker. Welcome to the Fast Break here on a Monday morning. It's our first Monday morning post event. It feels like we're here, Garrett Tucker. We're here. We're in the season, and we're excited to do this every Monday after an event weekend. Excited to have you. How you doing this morning, man?
The only bad thing is I left sunny Florida with sunny and 85 yesterday in Tampa to wake up this morning to 50, and it's still sunny, so it's not that bad in Alabama, but it's a little bit different. The
Yeah,
sinuses will definitely be feeling it later this afternoon.
I know, man. Life in Florida this time of year is pretty good. I know
Got,
I
got,
can't.
got a rough life down there.
I'm out here in Arizona. It's the same thing. So that's why they do spring training, I think, in these beautiful states. So, um, well, we're excited to bring you on. We wanted to talk about you were down there for the Conrad P. Foss Memorial. It's the second year that we've been able to do this with Jeff Foss honoring his father, a big pioneer in the grassroots basketball industry, and for me personally, a big mentor and a guy that I really leaned on quite a bit my whole career. We're excited to play host to that tournament down there in Florida. And this year was another great year. I think it's a really good opportunity for us to see some guys to really start some stories and some good competition with Jeff and his team from the U.S. Amateur Basketball Group down there in Wesley Chapel. But we're going to talk about a number of things. We're going to talk about just your overall thoughts of the event. We're going to talk about the trending teams, the trending players. Maybe there were some guys that you saw, some players, some teams that we need to keep our eyes on here going into the springtime. And then really just some parting shots and some parting thoughts as we kind of wrap things up. So we'll run through it. And if you're joining us live, we appreciate you doing so. Make sure you hit the follow button if you're not already. We're live streaming on Hoop Scene Florida account. Also, you can catch us on Hoop Scene and Hoop Scene AL, where Garrett runs our coverage in Alabama, which is coming up in a couple weeks for the Bama Jam. Of course, Hoop Scene GA for coverage in Georgia. And if you're a travel coach or program director or team mom or just a fan of travel basketball, go to hoopscene.com/events. Check out our event schedule coming up. We got a lot of action coming up here. Really, with the next couple months, I think is every single weekend here coming up soon. So it should be a lot of fun. So, Garrett, let's jump right into it. You had a lot of action going on there down at Wesley Chapel, the Wiregrass Sports Complex. Give me just your overall thoughts, your overall impressions, just kind of your opening thoughts from the event.
Yeah, first and foremost, the facility at Wiregrass Sports, it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
8-court facility, state of the art in a great area. So I was thrilled about that. I know I hope you caught my excitement when I was texting you. But it's an awesome facility, great place to have an event. Pretty fired up to be going back there in July for the Florida Jam.
Yeah.
Should be a really another really good opportunity in the live event. But yeah, I mean, great facility, great place, and then whenever you get all that, it makes the action even better.
Yeah.
So it was a great opportunity here early to see a lot of these South Florida teams, and see who's going to start their story here early this spring. And I know several teams, several players did as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Anytime you have a good facility, it does make for a really good event. They have 8 courts there, like 4 on each side. Is that the
Right. Yes.
layout of it? Yeah, you talked about the Florida Jam. We're going to run a live period event there, and the second live period of July, which we're really excited about. So we'll have 2 live periods that period, one in Virginia Beach, one there in the Tampa area, which I think gives good options for teams in our service areas, both the teams in the up north and to like North Carolina and maybe even Tennessee, Kentucky, and then of course down in Florida for all of our teams in the Deep South and Bible Belt area. But with this event, and with all age groups, 17U all the way down to I think even 3rd grade, I think it was. So it was a nice variety of players and a nice chance to really see some teams. But for you, when you kind of take the wide view of the overall event, who are some of the standout programs, some of the teams that you really like that you saw?
At first glance, you got to mention Skill Center Elite. They had their UA Rise programs, and then also the Hoop Scene associations. But from top to bottom, it's like you turn around, there's a Skill Center Elite on this course. I feel like I was watching Skill Center every game, but that's not a bad thing. But I think ultimately, I know they won the 8th grade, 9th grade, and 10th grade championship, so that says a lot there. Just ran the table, and then they lost. Had a close loss in the varsity final to Wellington Wolves Glen, and again, that's another program that we're no stranger to. The Wellington Wolves are always going to be competitive. I thought they had a great weekend as well. Another one I'll throw in there was Southwest Florida hoops, top to bottom. They had a great showing. But yeah, those three programs right there, I would say it was a quality weekend for all of them.
Yeah. The thing I love about these events in March, early March, is that for a lot of teams, it's their first competitive game against somebody else, right? They've been practicing probably not for very long. They get a chance to throw out different rotations and kind of test out, different lineups and whatnot. Then ultimately, you really get to see who is going to be competitive on our team, who's going to bring what skill set to the table. Can we mess around with some different lineups? And then ultimately, we want to compete and try to win. And so I think that I love these events because I feel like we can really pull back the layers and see what the base is for a team. So then we see them again later in April, maybe, or even into May. Like we can kind of get a level up to see where they're at, right? Like for you, you'll see some teams here at Conrad Foss, and then maybe you join us at Bob Gibbons, in May, and you're like, oh man, that guy got so much better in just like 6 weeks, period of time. So that's something that I really like. Let's start with that 17U division real quick. You mentioned them with Wellington Wolves, and they beat, SCE in the championship. Give me some. Are there any players in that 17U division that you really, stood out to you, that jumped out off to you?
I'll start out with the Wolves. I'll go with Torrell Robinson. Brought a lot of energy, probably 6'4", 6'5" wing, just was all over the place. Defended well, just active around the rim, got a lot of trash buckets. Also, intrigued me a lot. He made some shots as well. I gotta throw his name out there to begin with. He was one of the main reasons why Wellington made that run to capture the 17U championship. I'll also go with probably the best shooter I saw all weekend was Max Simmons from TNT Hoop Squad. I think on Saturday in 2 games he made 13 threes.
Oh wow, that's big time. That's big time.
I think he had 5 or 6 one game, and then I know there was 7 in another. So he was really feeling it. So he shot it really well. Thought he had a great day. Also, another good shooter, Kamar Honor, FCA Saints. He shot it really well throughout the weekend. Had a great showing. Those 3 right there. Thought they were really good. 3 guys, or 2 the backcourt from Skill Center UA. Isaiah Newsom and Jay London Rivers, great combo, and I'll probably touch a little bit more on them as we go on. But yeah, from top to bottom, it was very good, very entertaining.
Yeah, keep your eyes open to our social media accounts. We got a number of our top performers that you brought up, our team Jerome Reed, and all of our other content staff that was there in Wesley Chapel. We'll have a lot of stuff coming up, not just today, but really throughout the rest of the week. So keep your eyes open for that. Also, make sure you go to hoopscene.com and check out Garrett's written content from the event as well. So a lot of stuff to check out over there. I felt like the 16U division, I think it was a 16 under division, or maybe it was the 15. There was just a lot of depth. Really, I think between the 8th grade to the 16U division, or I guess the 10th grade division is how they were calling it. I felt like there was so much depth of talent. At least that was my impression on the outside looking in. Is that a pretty fair assumption?
Yeah, definitely the 8th grade and 9th grade, very competitive for from top to bottom. I'll touch on the 8th grade first. So, from the 8th grade, you had Skill Center, of course, Team Spates, A1 Elite, Ball for Life, Lakeland Fire, all of those teams. I mean, there were Jeff and I were talking about this Sunday. It's like there are 5 or 6 teams that I could definitely see it playing in that championship and also winning it. As I said, Skill Center ended up coming up big. John Arroyo, little guard, shot it really well. He was big for Skill Center. But just going down the line, we had a familiar face, Xavier Police, from Ball for Life, older brother. So it's kind of that's starting to come full circle now. He was very good. Lakeland Fire had a little guard, Tyson McElhaney, that I was a big fan of. So 8th grade was really good, and then kind of like you said, 9th grade, very competitive too. Ball for Life, Manatee, OTH, Skill Center, Southwest Florida Hoops. So both of those, I mean, it was so good for sure. And then going to the 16U, I really like Southwest Florida hoops, how they played. They
Sure.
ultimately got beat by Skill Center in the championship by Big Joe Phelan. Talk about a guy that was trending, Big Joe.
Sure.
The cameras were following him all weekend, and very intriguing prospect for class of 2026. So he's going to be a fun one to track and see as the go on.
6'8", interchangeable position. He was the guy for me that really popped off the film. Like I'd see stuff coming through, like, oh, who's this guy, right? Like I want to see more of him. I'm going to get into full film of him today. I think throughout this week, really intriguing guy. And we saw that last year too with like a lot of our events where we saw guys in the spring and we knew like it was coming, right? Like you talked about Elijah Freeman, the first time you saw him was back in the spring before coaches could get out there. We saw the trajectory that happened for him. He ended up going up to Lincoln Memorial and committing to those guys. But I feel like a guy like Joe Phelan, like I feel like the momentum is starting to trend where his name is going to pop up quite a bit, I think, here in the next couple of months as we get deeper into travel ball. Am I right? I hope I'm right. I think I'm right.
Yeah, definitely. I think he's going to be a guy that high major programs are going to want to see. I know South Florida's already offered him, but I think you'll be see the American ACC, SEC
Sure.
schools. They're definitely going to be in there.
Yeah.
And then I also forgot, going back to Isaiah Newsome. He's a 2026 guard playing up on the 17s. He was the most electric player I saw all weekend.
Was he really?
He was entertaining to watch. Small guard, but he can hoop, man. So, definitely those two 2026. The future's bright for Skill Center. Between those two guys, they're two very, very good, talented players that are going to be, highly recruited by their respective schools.
I feel like we've been saying this for the last couple of years. That 26 class, particularly in the South, it feels like it's a different kind of group where every event that we go to, there, I feel like there's more and more guys that are kind of playing their way into the conversation.
Definitely. And it just pops up. You can also throw in Devin Jones, Southwest Florida hoops. I remember watching him in Dallas Lambert last year. This year he's really good this weekend. Looks a little like Dalton Connect. Got the same kind of body type. They a little bit different style of play, but he was one of my favorite players from the weekend as well.
High praise, man. SEC Player of the Year, bro.
Yeah. Hey, the looks, it just popped. First thing that popped into my head. So, and people didn't disagree. So,
hey, I love a good player comp, so I'm not here to judge, man. Anytime we get a good player comp out there, I'm all for it. So, give me, I don't know, give me like 3 or 4 players that we need to kind of keep our eyes on and keep, he's probably one of those guys that as we look at the runway here over the next couple of months, we've got, more events in Florida, Florida Cups. We've got the Bama Jam coming up. We've got the Tennessee Tip-Off. We've got, the Hoop Scene Tip-Off in Atlanta. So we're going to be all over the place. Give me some guys as we look at our calendar moving forward that you saw here from Conrad Foss that maybe some people need to keep their eyes on.
So, yeah, I'll definitely go with Jones on that. He's 6'3", got long arms, and really knows how to play, made it look easy, great end-to-end burst. I can see him, he's going to get some definite Division II low major looks. I would say pre-transfer portal, he's a no doubt Division I guy, but now he was very impressive. A young kid that I really liked, Curtis Walton from OTH, had a little bit of a herky-jerky game, but man, he filled it up for OTH. Had some multiple 20-point scoring performances. Thought he was really good. So he's one that's, it's going to be fun to see how he's still got a couple of years, but to see how he progresses and see how everything goes. And then, I don't know, the third one to watch for, I'll go with Jay London Rivers from Skill Center. He's a 25 guard, just real power guard, length, can defend. I think there's going to be a big market for him. Like Devin, Division II, low major. There's a lot of different schools, especially in Florida and the South, that will really be intrigued by what he brings to the table.
I think this is a perfect segue here to our parting thoughts here as we wrap things up as we talk about the Conrad P. Foss Memorial down in Florida over the weekend. He's Garrett Tucker. I'm Justin Young. We appreciate you watching up to this point. Garrett, I've been thinking about this a lot. We've got the live period that's moved back to really the second half of May, right? The May 17th or the 19th. And where it used to be in April, some years we've had 2 weekends, some years we've just had one, but to have it pushed back a month, I know a lot of people are kind of, I don't know if they're confused or if they're upset or just something that's changed is different. But I've always argued that with the technology and with eyeballs, every event doesn't have to be catered exclusively to Division I schools. I think it's what people also have to remember is that most events that are going on are open for non-Division I schools to be at. And there's, coaches that are of every level. And particularly if you're an unsigned senior right now, if you have an opportunity to go somewhere and you have a scholarship, take it. Like don't wait for something else to come around because you're gonna be waiting a little bit longer than before. And you're just kind of hoping that somebody sees you in essentially just 2 days. I mean, you only have like 3 game slots on a Friday, and then you've got all day Saturday and half a day on Sunday. And so for coaches, college coaches, if they're watching this, like, please come out to our events, whether it's the Conrad P. Foss over the weekend, which is a great opportunity. It's all of our events coming up here in the next, 6 weeks on our platform throughout the Southeast, is that every event is live when you really think about it with technology. And for non-Division I schools to come out there and to be in the gym, that it's not exclusive to Division I. Every level has opportunity. We see that each and every year.
And just to build on that, like coaches talk,
coaches do talk.
Non-Division I coaches, they've got friends at the Division I ranks. So, if he's too good for me as a non-Division I coach, pass it on up. And it's good and bad. It's also like, hey, this guy right here was acting a fool this weekend. Don't mess with him. So it works both ways.
Sure.
But yeah, I completely agree with you. I mean, it's a great opportunity, while like you said, may not be a live event. I may not have one for the next few weeks, but it's a great opportunity to springboard, start your story, and really just build that resume as the spring builds up.
That's something that we're going to be doing as a staff at Hoop Scene, is really hoping to put more names out there and really kind of get the momentum going. Coaches, I think, will have time to work on the portal in April and then really focus in on May. So use these next 6, 7, 8 weeks to build up your portfolio, if you will. Get some good film, get some good write-ups, get out there, compete, try to win, and really build up some momentum. So when that May period comes around, if that goal of yours is to go Division I, do that. If not, you're going to have coaches in the building that are non-Division I. Hopefully, they're going to be offering scholarships. So a lot to consider there. Garrett, let me kind of pivot real quick, kind of getting away a little bit for a second from the Conrad P. Foss Memorial. This might be the only time that you and I get a chance to talk before the action really fires up the NCAA tournament on Thursday. Okay, I haven't filled my bracket yet. I'm going to do that probably tonight. How far does Buckyball and Sanford go in the tournament, brother?
Hey, only bad thing is they play at 9:55 Eastern on whichever Thursday or Friday, whichever night that is. But so I'm excited for everybody to see Buckyball in action up close. And hey, what no better team to do it against than Kansas. So there's going to be plenty of eyes watching. Who knows if Kansas isn't fully healthy, they may be able to pull an upset. It should be a fun one.
Yeah, it should be a ton of fun. A lot of good schools from Alabama in the tournament. You're our Alabama editor. That's why I bring that up on the live stream. Any parting thoughts? Any last thoughts as we wrap things up here, Garrett?
Just I love South Florida. Love the hoops. There's definitely some talent down there. So it was a great weekend overall for me. Learned a lot. Like I said, I'm excited to go back.
Yeah, we'll be back. Like Garrett said, we'll be back for the Florida Jam. Let me get the exact dates pulled up on my calendar. You think I would have these memorized, but I can't memorize all my kids' birthdays half the time. So we'll be down there July. My eyes haven't woken up yet. 19th and the 21st. We'll be down there for the Florida Jam at Wesley Chapel at the beautiful Wiregrass Sports Complex. It's got 8 courts under one roof. So excited to be back down there for that. Make sure you go to hoopsy.com/events for all of our events coming up. Make sure you get registered. We're going to be selling out of the Georgia Cup if we haven't already. I haven't talked to our guy Daniel Paccioni yet to see where we're at with the numbers, but we are really ahead of schedule on that enrollment coming up. So we got a big one this weekend with the Georgia Cup. And of course, we've got a lot of action that you'll be spearheading at the Bama Jam coming up at the end of the month. there in Hoover. We'll also be up in Knoxville, Tennessee for the Tennessee tip-off. So, man, a lot of action. Garrett, appreciate you getting started with us this morning here on Hoop Scene on the Fast Break, and appreciate your coverage from the weekend, my friend.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everybody, for watching. We'll see you next time right here on the Fast Break. Take care.